I sent a group photo of a family picnic of 3 in the parent group. The mother of a certain classmate immediately jumped out and started swearing. Don't you have any shame? You actually photoshopped someone else's husband's head onto it. If you are sick, go and get treated. Don't fantasize about other people's husbands all day long. Before I could say a word, she immediately threw out more than a dozen intimate photos of herself and her husband. At the end, she still did not forget to mock me. A pheasant can never become a phoenix. You poor person who only knows how to fantasize. You can't even compare to one of my toes. How dare you pretend to be me? I kicked my sleeping husband off the bed. You've really grown some nerve. Keeping a mistress behind my back? A kindergarten teacher everyone in the parent group and asked everyone to share the children's weekend life. I casually sent the photo of the family picnic to the group and then went to do other things. Unexpectedly, when I came back, the parent group was in an uproar. Deal is his father, really? It's a rare sight. You still steal other people's husbands. This is a parent group. Don't you care that your child will have a hard time standing in the kindergarten in the future? Yusuf's mother, Meg's mother. I hope you can come out and explain. People kept me. Even their teacher in class 1 also me alone and asked me to explain. There were hundreds and thousands of messages. I couldn't finish flipping through them. I was completely confused. So I asked the question in my heart. What on earth has happened? What do you want me to explain? Just after I sent this message, the account named Luke's mother immediately jumped out. Oh, still pretending? Weren't you quite proud when you sent the photo? Why? Do you think that no one in the group knows the financial tycoon Finn? After drinking some alcohol, you become arrogant. If you provoke me, you will face life and death. How dare you pretend to be me? Do you believe that I can make you unable to survive in this city with just one word? It was quite sudden. I just casually sent a family photo. Unexpectedly. This could also be exposed as fake, since she knows who Finn is and still dares to pick on me. For a moment, I don't know if she is pretending to be stupid or really stupid. I couldn't help but reply. Luke's mother. Is there a possibility that Finn is really my husband? As soon as she heard this, she became even more furious and sent dozens of intimate photos of herself and my husband in a row. There were even ones on the bed. Before I could react, Luke's mother directly mocked me. My relationship with my husband is unbreakable. It's not something that any random person can pick on. Your behavior of being driven by vanity and photoshopping someone else's husband into your own photo. Do you know that you have violated my husband's portrait rights? I can sue you. Everyone in the group was indignant and followed Luke's mother in accusing me. Meg's mother. I don't know what kind of psychology you have to do such a thing. Is the child's biological father so shameful that you would use such a clumsy method to fake it? Every time I picked up the child before, I never saw the child's father. Maybe she doesn't even know who the child's father is. Originally, she wanted to show off. But unexpectedly, she showed off in front of the real owner. If it were me, I would have to live on another planet. It's so embarrassing. With a mother like this, the child probably follows suit. I'm afraid my child will learn bad habits from being classmates with such a child. Teacher Lee. I don't want my child to be classmates with such a student. Other parents also follow suit and one after another demand that my daughter be expelled. I hope the principal and teacher can give us a satisfactory answer next Monday. I was so angry that I laughed. I didn't expect that a simple group photo could cause such a big storm. I directly Luke's mother. You said you are Finn's wife. What evidence do you have? But I have. I directly threw out our marriage certificate. Unexpectedly, she was not panicked at all, and directly took a side photo of Finn sleeping. Well prepared. You even made a fake marriage certificate. But fake ones are always fake and can never become real. I enlarged the photo and carefully identified it. It was indeed Finn without a doubt. Could it be that he is keeping a mistress behind my back? And there's even a child. If that's really the case, I don't mind keeping the child and getting rid of the father. Why? Can't you say anything? Aren't you Finn's wife? Why do you only send one group photo and a fake marriage certificate? Finn should be at home at this time. Right? Take a photo and let's see. Let's see who is the fake one. Everyone in the group was following the trend and mocking me. Although I was displeased, I still explained. He is on a business trip recently and is not at home. This is the truth. Recently, in order to open up a new market, Finn flew to the UK. Before leaving, he also asked me and our daughter what gifts we wanted. Hilarious. The photo that Luke's mother just sent. You said Finn is on a business trip. It's really laughable. Isn't she unwilling to take a photo? It's because she can't take one at all. Meg's mother. You know how to Photoshop. Don't you know to prepare a few more in advance? Now being exposed as fake by the real owner on the spot. This is so embarrassing. If I were you, I would be too embarrassed to stay in this group anymore. People who can do such behavior of photoshopping and stealing husbands must have thick skins. Everyone be more understanding. Teacher Lee. I only ask that Meg be expelled as soon as possible. With such a mother. The child's character is also worrying. My child must not be classmates with such a person. I was extremely angry. This Luke's mother really knows how to distort the truth. I just wanted to throw out evidence to slap her in the face. But then Aunt Wong rushed and lied. Madam, it's not good. The young lady suddenly has a high fever and can't be woken up no matter how much we call her. As soon as I heard this, how could I still have the mind to confront her? I immediately put down my phone and ran to my daughter's room. Her forehead was burning hot. I directly picked up my daughter and asked Uncle Wu to drive us to the hospital quickly. After a series of examinations at the hospital, the doctor said to me, "Fortunately, you sent her to the hospital in time. Otherwise, if it was a little later, it would have developed into pneumonia." I repeatedly thanked him, but the doctor stood there hesitating to speak. I looked up at him. "Dr. Chang, is there something else you want to say?" The doctor hesitated for a while before saying, "Originally, I was worried that the child was bullied by family members. But seeing how worried you are about her, it should not be." "What do you mean by that, doctor?" "The child's high fever was not an accident. She should have been soaked in cold water for too long, which caused the fever. Just now, I carefully examined. The child seems to have been abused. There are many needle marks on her body, and they're all in very hidden places." "What?" Hearing this, I could no longer sit still. Originally, I thought my daughter just had an accidental fever. But after hearing the doctor's words, my emotions could no longer be calm. That is to say, someone bullied my daughter behind my back? But my daughter has always been well behaved. Who would be so cruel to her? Moreover, she is usually under my nose. Who would dare to do such a thing to her? My daughter was still in a coma. I could only silently stay by her bedside, looking at her face that had turned red due to the fever. I felt extremely guilty. I am really not a qualified mother. My daughter was bullied like this, and I didn't notice it at all. If I find out who hurt my daughter, I will definitely not let them go. By the next morning, my daughter finally woke up from her coma. I touched her pale little face and asked with heartache, "Meg, are you still uncomfortable?" My daughter obediently shook her head. Thinking of what the doctor mentioned yesterday, I hesitated for a moment and then carefully chose my words and asked cautiously, "Meg, tell Mom, did someone bully you?" My daughter's expression showed obvious panic, but she still insisted that there was no one. Seeing my daughter's panic look, I knew there must be something fishy about this. So I made an excuse to buy breakfast and said I would be back in 10 minutes. My daughter ate very quickly. It seemed that she was very hungry. Seeing her start eating, I asked indirectly, "Meg, is the teacher in kindergarten good to you?" Meg has always been taken care of by me at home. Only occasionally when I am busy will I ask Aunt Wang to take care of her for a while. Moreover, when my daughter was very young, because my husband was worried about his little sweetheart, He had installed surveillance cameras everywhere in the house. If she really dared to do anything, I would have found out long ago. The only place where there might be a problem is kindergarten. Hearing me mention the teacher, my daughter immediately nodded. Teacher Lee is very good to me. She also braids my hair beautifully. It seems that it's not the teacher. I continued to ask. Do you have good friends in kindergarten? Shall we invite your good friends to our house as guests next time? Hearing this, my daughter's face immediately changed. She lowered her head, as if she had done something wrong. The whole person seemed panicked and afraid. My heart tightened, but I still suppressed my emotions. Meg, do you also have a little secret and don't want to tell Mom? My daughter shook her head repeatedly. No, it's not. I held my daughter's hand and said softly, if you don't want to say it, Mom won't force you. Mom just wants to tell you that Meg will always be Mom's dearest little baby. My daughter's expression was a bit struggling. After a long while, she said in a low voice, but he said that if I tell Mom, Mom will not want me anymore. My heart tightened. Who on earth was spreading rumors in front of my daughter? I suppressed my anger and gently held my daughter's hand. Meg, Mom will never not want you. Now can you tell Mom who bullied you? Seeing my firm eyes, my daughter finally told me the secret that she had been keeping in her heart. It's Luke. He bullied me and pricked my back and buttocks with needles. Meg is in so much pain. As my daughter spoke, she shed tears. All the grievances of these days gushed out at this moment. And this time, her fever was also caused by Luke pressing Meg in the water for a long time during a water fight game, almost giving her pneumonia. I was shocked and couldn't imagine how helpless my daughter must have been at that time. Luke. Again it's Luke. Previously, his mother made wild accusations in the group. Unexpectedly, her son bullied my daughter so much in kindergarten. For all these things, I will definitely get back at her doubly. My daughter was sick and frightened. She stayed in the hospital for several days. However, she was not used to staying outside. So with the doctor's permission, I checked her out of the hospital in advance. When I was about to take her home, I unexpectedly found that there were cars parked outside the villa. For a moment, I even suspected that I had gone to the wrong place. It was not until I saw the house number clearly that I was sure I hadn't gone to the wrong place. Just as I was about to go in, I heard a taunt. Oh, isn't this the fake Mrs. Kim? Why? Do you want to take a few more photos and go back to Photoshop and pretend to be a rich lady? The speaker was the parent of my daughter's classmate. We had met before when picking up and dropping off the child. But she was arrogant and never looked at others directly. I was too lazy to pay attention to her. I was just about to go in and see what was going on inside. Unexpectedly, she grabbed my arm. Not speaking means you are guilty. I can tell you that the Kim family's villa is not a place where any random person can enter. You are not on today's invitation list. Hurry up and go away. Don't make a fool of yourself here. She deliberately raised her voice. Sure enough, all the student parents who were originally in the yard were attracted over. Isn't this Meg's parent? I remember that Mrs. Kim didn't invite her. Everyone take a look. Some people's faces are thicker than the city wall. After being exposed as fake by the real owner, now she still has the nerve to come to Mrs. Kim's house. Let's call Mrs. Kim out and let her deal with this shameless woman properly. In a short while, Luke's mother was called over. From the chattering descriptions of other parents, she knew that I was Meg's mother and immediately taunted me. I thought who it was. So it's the fake who pretended to be me. Your daughter has been expelled from the class. How can you have the nerve to bring her to my house? I frowned. Who told you that my daughter was expelled? Previously, when my daughter suddenly fell ill, I had asked for leave from their class teacher. Teacher Lee, please explain why it is said that our Meg has been expelled from the class. I turned to look. Teacher Lee immediately lowered her head guiltily. Luke's mother pretended to be protective and stood in front of Teacher Lee. Meg's mother. I can understand your current mood. But you can't threaten the teacher. After all, you shamelessly pretended to be me in the parent group. Just expelling her from the class is already me being lenient. Don't be ungrateful. I was almost angered into laughter. I've seen shameless people before. But I've never seen someone as shameless as this. When other parents saw this, they also stood up one after another to defend Teacher Lee. Meg's mother. Your daughter was expelled because of you. You should reflect on it well instead of continuing to be stubborn. That's right. Fortunately, Mrs. Kim is magnanimous and doesn't care about you. If it were me, I would definitely take you to court. Seeing so many people surrounding her and speaking, Luke's mother also stood up and pretended to be magnanimous. Forget it. Maybe she was confused for a moment. Since you are here, come in together. After all, there won't be such an opportunity in the future. Other parents continued to flatter. I couldn't help but retort, "Are you sure this is your house?" Luke's mother gave a contemptuous smile. "If this isn't my house, is it yours?" Seeing this, my daughter was also a little angry. She immediately stood up. "This is my house. You bad people are not allowed to bully my mom." There was a burst of laughter around. Truly, like mother, like daughter. At such a young age, she starts lying. Fortunately, the kindergarten has expelled her. Otherwise, I'm really afraid she will lead my child astray. A crooked upper beam makes a crooked lower beam. This child is ruined. Mrs. Kim, what are you still talking nonsense with them for? Just ask the security guards to throw them out. Everyone was talking one after another, as if they were going to completely nail me to the pillar of shame. That little boy named Luke took advantage of my unpreparances and gave my daughter a hard push. Liar. Get out of my house. Originally, I was suppressing my anger. But my daughter is my weakness. No one can bully her. I grabbed Luke by the neck. It was you who bullied my daughter in kindergarten, right? Smack. Smack. I immediately slapped him twice without giving anyone time to react. After all, Luke is still young. He is usually domineering. Suddenly being slapped twice by me, he immediately burst into loud cries from the pain. When Luke's mother saw me hitting her son, how could she bear it? She rushed over and pushed me, firmly protecting her son in her arms. With red eyes, she loudly accused me. How can you be so vicious? Just because I exposed your true face, you take it out on my son? Others also chimed in and accused me of bullying the young. I sneered. Today, I have truly seen what it means to be a villain who files the first complaint. Luke has bullied my daughter many times in kindergarten and even pricked her with needles. This time, it was also because of him that my daughter had a high fever and almost developed pneumonia. Such a little devil. Shouldn't he be beaten? Hearing what I said, other parents were also stunned. They probably didn't expect that Luke could be so vicious at such a young age. For a moment, they all fell silent. Unexpectedly, Teacher Lee was the first to rush out and refute. Meg's mother, at this time, you are still lying. Which kindergarten will dare to accept your child in the future? Little Luke has excellent performance at school. On the contrary, Meg lies all the time. I didn't know why she was incorrigible before. Today, seeing you, I finally understand what it means by teaching by example. Meg's bad habit of lying is closely related to you. If you really care about her, you should apologize to Luke's mother in person right now. Otherwise, no one can save you. People around all chimed in. I said so. With Mrs. Kim's status, the child is also outstanding. How could it be possible to bully others? I think you are furious because you are exposed and deliberately come here to cause trouble. Right? The Kim family is really unlucky to encounter such an unlucky thing. My daughter grabbed my hand in fear. Mom, Meg didn't lie. Why do they say we are lying? Seeing my daughter like this, my heart ached terribly. I touched her little head and said softly, what's fake can never become real. When I looked up, my eyes were icy cold. Do you know that trespassing on private property is illegal? Hearing this, Luke's mother was not panicked at all. Instead, she calmly asked me in return. This should be what I say, right? This is my house. You broke in without permission. I can call the police and arrest you. Suddenly, she changed the topic. However, considering that you are a woman with a child, I won't bother with you. If you are sensible, leave quickly. It seemed that she was in a hurry and couldn't wait to send me away. But I wouldn't let her get what she wanted. Since you said this is your house, you should be very familiar with everything inside, right? This house was designed by me personally. Of course. I know everything. Half a year ago, Fawn bought a Monet's impression, Sunrise, at an auction, and gave it to Mrs. Kim. Since you are Mrs. Kim, you should know where this painting is hanging now, right? Luke's mother was momentarily at a loss for words. I deliberately reminded her. I heard that Mrs. Kim likes this painting very much and can't put it down. She hopes to see it as soon as she opens her eyes every day. That painting is in my and my husband's bedroom. She immediately answered quickly. After finishing, she didn't forget to give me a contemptuous look. You know a lot about our family. It seems that you have been spying on us a lot. Unfortunately, I am Mrs. Kim. You can only enjoy it in your dreams. She was really brazen. Since she likes to pretend to be me so much, then I will expose her true colors in front of everyone. Just based on your one-sided words. Who would believe it? Since you insist on courting death, then don't blame me for being merciless. Everyone, follow me. Today, I will let you understand clearly. She played the role of the hostess and led a group of people to the bedroom door. Normally, the bedroom is a very private place. Generally, I wouldn't let outsiders in. But today, those who understand will understand. After saying that, she gave me a contemptuous look. I didn't speak and pointed at the door. Stop talking nonsense. Open the door. She sneered and then turned the doorknob and opened the door. Unfortunately, there was no Monet's Sunrise in the room. Instead, there was a hand-painted family portrait of mine. What's going on? Didn't it say that there was a Monet's Sunrise hanging on the wall? This looks like a family portrait no matter what. If she is really Mrs. Kim, how could she not even know what is hanging in her own bedroom? Because of a painting, everyone began to doubt her identity. Luke's mother's face turned pale. She immediately defended herself. No. That painting was put away by me a while ago. That's right. I put it away. I just didn't remember it for a moment. Everyone suddenly realized and said one after another. I said so. Mrs. Kim is wearing all famous brands and can enter and leave the Kim family's villa at will. How could it be fake? Seeing that everyone had no more doubts, she started to taunt me again. People of the lower class are always of the lower class. With a poor and shabby air, you still have the nerve to pretend to be a rich lady. Don't you look in the mirror? Do you deserve it? I really admire her thick skin. At this time, she can still be so calm. I pointed to the hand-painted family portrait on the wall and asked her, can you explain why your Luke is clearly a boy, but there is a girl in this hand-painted family portrait? Her expression visibly panicked. After a long while, she explained, that's because my husband and I always wanted a daughter. Unexpectedly, later we had a son. After finishing, she was again ashamed and angry. But you have slandered me again and again. What's your intention? Others also chimed in on the sidelines. That's right. That's right. I think she is jealous because she can't have what she wants. People like this can't be indulged. Mrs. Kim, don't waste words with her. Just call the police and arrest this bad woman who pretends to be you. I pretend to be myself. Probably nothing is more ridiculous than this. Seeing everyone talking one after another, I kicked the door frame. Stop arguing. If you want to know who is the real one between us, just look at the group photo by the bed. Hearing this, her face immediately changed. Others looked at each other, and then walked towards the bed. The truth is about to be revealed. I just want to see how she will end up next. She was so confident just now. I thought there would really be a reversal. Sure enough, a clown is always a clown, and can't be on the stage. Probably because she was so deeply into the act that she even deceived herself. I ignored their sarcasm and instead picked up the photo frame. In the photo, she was leaning in Finn's arms, with a happy smile. They looked like the most compatible couple. How could this be? She put her hands on her chest, and looked at me smugly. Now, what else do you have to say? I was so angry that I laughed. You even prepared the photo. At first, I thought she had used some means to come in. Now thinking about it, it seems that it's not so simple. She even replaced the group photo. Obviously, she hasn't been in here for just one day. Nonsense. I think you are crazy about being the president's wife. The evidence is in front of you, and you still won't give up. Ask the people present, and see who they believe in. She deliberately raised her voice as if provoking. And I didn't spoil her. Since you said you are Mrs. Kin, why don't you call Finn back and let him personally explain who is his wife? If she is really related to Finn, then this husband can be replaced. I will definitely not pick up a man from the trash can. I dialed my husband's phone number. However, the phone rang for a long time but no one answered. There was a burst of laughter around. I have truly seen what it means to slap oneself in the face. This is so embarrassing. Right? Until now, she is still immersed in the fantasy of being Mrs. Kin. I think there may be something wrong with her mind. Her daughter's surname is Shenhai. How dare she pick on Finn? Hearing this, Luke's mother covered her lips and chuckled lightly. It seems that you can't get through. Let me try. After saying that, she took out her phone, dialed a number, and put it on speakerphone. The phone rang twice and was answered. Finn's familiar voice came from the other end. Wife, what's the matter? Nothing. It's just that there is a single mother in kindergarten pretending to be me, and saying that she is your wife. Oh. I have only married you in my life. It's not something that any random person can pick on. Wife, if it doesn't work, just call the police. No. Although this voice is very similar to Finn's, it is not something Finn would say. Let me see. Is this really Finn's phone number? I wanted to take a look at her phone number, but she quickly avoided me. Others stood up again to support her. I say, have you had enough? Now the evidence is conclusive. You are the fake one. How thick-skinned. At this time, you still don't give up. If I were you, I would find a crack in the ground and get in. Quickly take your daughter and leave. Don't be an eyesore here. During the pushing and shoving, my daughter was pushed to the ground. Her eyes were red from crying. Mom, why are they bullying us? Meg didn't lie. I picked up my daughter and comforted her softly. Meg is not wrong. It's these people who are blind and heartless who are wrong. These words obviously stimulated them again. A group of people cursed like mad dogs. I was silent for a while, and took out my phone and pressed 3 digits. Luke's mother's face changed, and she reached out and knocked my phone out of my hand. I finally understand. You are deliberately looking for trouble today. Knowing that my husband's company is about to go public soon, you deliberately choose this time to cause public opinion. Who sent you? Why are you harming my husband? Luke's mother loudly reprimanded me. People around pointed at me. I said, why would someone pretend to be Mrs. Kin? It turns out that they have ulterior motives. You are also a mother. How can you do such a shameless thing? Aren't you afraid of teaching your child badly? Everyone pointed at me. Meg's mother. No matter what psychology you have. But I want to tell you that this behavior is wrong. Parents are the best teachers for children. Meg is so young. What you do will have a bad influence on her. I advise you to apologize to Luke's mother quickly, Let's just let this matter go. Hearing this, I couldn't hold back anymore. Teacher Lee, right? Before, I always thought you were a responsible teacher because my daughter has praised you more than once in front of me. Hearing this, the expression on Teacher Lee's face was obviously a little proud. However, I changed the topic. If it weren't for the injuries on my daughter found during the hospital examination this time, I would really think you are a good teacher. But what you have done is clearly to cover up the truth of Luke bullying my daughter. You are worse than those teachers who are blatantly bad. It is because of your indulgence and concealment that my daughter ended up in the hospital. I will settle this account with you properly. Teacher Lee's face changed suddenly. What are you talking about? What covering up bullying? I don't know what you are talking about. I have obtained the injury certificate issued by the doctor. Also, I have copied all the surveillance videos of my daughter during her time at school. Whether it is intentional cover-up or not, the law will give me a fair verdict. Teacher Lee, just wait for the court summons. Teacher Lee's legs wet weakened, she almost fell to the ground. Luke's mother was not in a hurry. Teacher Lee, don't be deceived by her. It's normal for children to fight and play. Besides, even if she really sues to the court, there is nothing to be afraid of. Don't forget that my husband is Finn. If you want to fight a lawsuit, I will accompany you to the end. With her support. Teacher Lee was obviously much more confident. Meg's mother, I hope you still recognize the reality. As an ordinary person like you, it is impossible to defeat Finn and Mrs. Kin. Before, I was also trying to help you. I hope you don't be ungrateful. I was so angry that I laughed. So you admit to covering up Luke, right? Teacher Lee didn't speak, which was a tacit admission of the fact. You heard it all, right? If you don't come back soon, you don't need to come back in the future. Hearing me suddenly say such words, Luke's mother's face changed. Who are you talking to? I pointed to the Bluetooth headset on my ear. Your husband Finn just called me back. He should be on his way back now. Just when my daughter was pushed down, my husband's call came in. I pressed the answer button without anyone noticing. He apologized to me on the phone and said that he had just gotten off the plane and immediately called me back. I was still holding a grudge in my heart. After all, this Luke's mother who didn't know where she came from had dozens of intimate photos with him. Although I don't know if they are real or fake. I am really angry. I ignored him and let him hear my conversation with others. Finn on the other end of the phone was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Who has the guts to bully my wife and daughter? Finn is a daughter slave. Usually, if his daughter frowns, he will feel distressed for a long time. Now hearing that his daughter was bullied in kindergarten, he can't wait for a moment. I will come back now. Wife, wait for me. Luke's mother, who was still calm just now, was a little panicked at this moment. You are lying. I just talked to my husband on the phone. He can't call you. I nodded in agreement. Yes. Yes. I am acting. Then do you dare to bet with me? She hesitated. I deliberately used the method of provoking. Why? You don't dare? Or are you the fake one? Luke's mother remained silent. But other parents took the opportunity to stand up and show their loyalty. Could it be that you are going to say that you are Mrs. Kin again? Look at yourself in the mirror. Where do you look like a rich lady at all? That's right. A shabby-looking yellow-faced woman. How dare she pretend to be a rich lady? Mrs. Kin, don't worry. We will not believe her. I looked down at myself. My daughter suddenly fell ill. I left in a hurry and didn't have time to dress up. I just grabbed a lightweight home clothes and went to the hospital. Unexpectedly. This has become the only criterion for them to identify my identity. With their support, Luke's mother became a lot more confident. She was convinced that I was a fake. So she was not panicked at all. Since you insist on courting death, then I will help you. I will call my husband back right now and let him slap you in the face personally. She made a call and Kokafulfly begged the man to come back. If I wasn't on the phone with Finn at this end, I would have suspected that she was really Finn's mistress outside. Just right. I also want to see who has such great courage to dare to pretend to be Finn. After a while, Finn walked in from outside. Everyone exclaimed. In my lifetime, I actually see Finn alive. Mrs. Kin, you must help me speak nicely in front of Finn. Finn is so handsome. Mrs. Kin is really lucky. Luke's mother was smug and immediately went forward and took Finn's arm, and Kokafulfly said, "Husband, you are finally back. I was almost bullied to death by this bad woman." Others also spoke one after another and stood up for her. I want to see who dares to bully my wife. Everyone's eyes looked at me. I was not afraid at all and walked up to him. It's me. So what? The Finn in front of me seemed not to recognize me. He shouted, "How dare you ask what's wrong? How many lives do you have? How dare you bully my Finn's wife? Today, if you kneel down and apologize to my wife properly, I can spare your life. Otherwise," I almost laughed out loud. "Otherwise what? Are you going to kill me?" "I won't kill you. But I can also make it impossible for you to survive in this city. If you don't believe me, you can try." Find Luce and his tie. Obviously, this heavy suit made him a little overwhelmed. Something is wrong. There is always something wrong. But I can't tell what it is. I only know that this person in front of me is definitely not Finn. But how can there be such a similar person in the world? Seeing that I didn't speak. How about it? Are you scared? If you are scared, kneel down and apologize to my wife quickly. I can reluctantly let you go. Before he finished speaking, a voice interrupted him first. Who do you want my wife to apologize to? Everyone turned around and was shocked with their mouths wide open. What's going on? Why are there tin Finns here? Finn is an only child. I haven't heard that he has any siblings or the like. But having said that, this Finn seems to have a stronger aura. The one just now can't be compared with this one at all. In an instant when I looked up, I met Finn's eyes. His eyes were full of tenderness. Almost instantly, I recognized that this man is my real husband. In the next second, my daughter let go of my hand and ran towards Finn. "Dad, don't call randomly. I only have one son." The fake Finn was still pretending to be calm at this moment. But my daughter ignored him and walked straight towards the real Finn. He opened his arms and hugged his daughter into his arms. Seeing the backbone, my daughter complained pitifully to her father. "Dad, they are bad people. They bullied me and Mom." Luke's mother, who was still very confident just now, was already as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. She was the first to speak. "Who are you? How dare you pretend to be my husband? Don't think that you can pass off as my husband just by getting plastic surgery to look like him. I tell you, I can sue you." As soon as her words fell, she heard people around discussing. So it's plastic surgery. No wonder they look so alike. I really don't know what she was thinking. Finding a fake to pretend, even if there is a similar face. What's fake is always fake. Mrs. Kin, I am on your side. In the future, if there is any good thing, you mustn't forget me. Seeing that everyone was on her side, her confidence burst again. Even her fake husband jumped out to expose the fake. "That's right. You have the guts to pretend to be me." "Finn." My husband chuckled lightly. But the chill in his eyes could no longer be hidden. He didn't even bother to look at him and directly ordered his assistant behind him. "Go and see who he really is." "Hey. What are you doing? Don't touch me." As soon as assistant made a move, he pressed the fake Finn to the ground so that he couldn't move. Then he neatly took off his fake wig and threw it on the ground. At this moment, the fake Finn finally revealed his true colors. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. "Oh my god. So he is really fake. Then is Luke's mother also. Impossible. She has more than 1 million fans on Shioganshu. How could she be fake?" Seeing the truth revealed, Luke's mother no longer had her previous arrogant attitude. She immediately tried to ingratiate herself with me. Mrs. Kim. I was confused for a moment. You are magnanimous and don't hold grudges against me. Forgive me this time. I pinched her chin and looked at her humble attitude. I mercilessly slapped her. Forgive? I gave you many chances. But you didn't cherish any of them. Not to mention that I will definitely hold your son accountable for bullying my daughter. Hearing this, her face immediately turned pale. Mrs. Kim. I was really confused. I was blinded by greed. Please let me go. My son is still so young. He can't have a mother with a criminal record. She knelt down in front of me with a plop. At this time, her tears might be somewhat sincere, but her deceitful behavior cannot be forgiven. Before I could speak, I heard my husband say, "Those who bullied my wife and child today will all be held accountable by Kim's legal department. Finn, don't have much else. I just have a lot of money. None of those who bully my family will get away easily. And Teacher Lee, right? As a teacher, you aided the tyrant and covered up the fact that Luke abused my daughter. I will get back 10 times as much from you for this." Now, not only Luke's mother, but everyone present panicked. Finn, we were also deceived and misunderstood your wife. We didn't mean it. Yes. Finn, you are magnanimous and don't hold grudges against us. Let us go. But this time, they kicked a real iron plate. However, I still couldn't figure out how Luke's mother opened the door of my house and even replaced the group photo in the room. When I asked her about it, she hesitated and refused to speak. With my husband's words, "Do you want a heavier sentence?" She was so scared that she told everything. A few years ago, she seduced a rich second generation. She wanted to have a child and rely on the child to gain wealth and status. Unexpectedly, the rich second generation ignored her at all and directly went abroad. She became a single mother. But she was used to a luxurious life. The breakup fee given to her by the rich second generation was soon spent by her. In order to continue living a life of a rich woman, she began to pretend to be a rich person on the internet. Coincidentally, her own mother is an nanny in our villa. Plus my daughter and I have never been exposed in public. So she had a sudden idea to pretend to be the wife of the president of the Kim Corporation, and created a young and charming wife persona. She gained millions of fans and made a lot of money. To make the effect more realistic, she often secretly asked her nanny mother to take pictures. This time, because my daughter was bullied by Luke and had a high fever in the middle of the night, I was accompanying my daughter in the hospital. I also told Aunt Wang, the nanny, that I would be back later. Unexpectedly, she thought it was an opportunity and wanted to take her online celebrity career to the next level. So she chose to start a live broadcast today to confirm her identity as Mrs. Kim and continue to attract fans and make money. As a rich lady, naturally she couldn't hold her phone herself. This good job fell to Teacher Lee. Unexpectedly, I suddenly came back and caught her off guard. And the live broadcast was manually closed as soon as she admitted that she was fake. Finn. Mrs. Kim. I said it. I really told everything. Can you not sue me? I don't want to go to jail. She cried bitterly. At this moment, I believe her tears are real. But I will definitely not forgive her, including her nanny mother who aided the tyrant. I called the police. She and her fake husband were both sued. The two of them impersonated our identities and made millions of dollars online. They have already committed fraud. The amount is huge and they will spend most of their lives in prison. Teacher Lee was also sued for accepting bribes many times. As for the other parents, it is true that they were deceived. But their actions are really annoying. I didn't accept their apologies. But I didn't intend to pursue it further. It's just that I don't intend to let my daughter stay in this kindergarten anymore. Not to mention the physical and psychological harm that Luke caused to her, which needs time to heal slowly. Just say that those student parents are all snobbish and even the teacher is in cahoots with them. I don't feel at ease leaving my daughter in such a kindergarten. But I didn't expect that there would be a reversal in this matter. The cause was that someone took things out of context on the internet and said that our husband and wife bullied ordinary people with power. Soon it caused a huge uproar on the internet. Kin's stocks plummeted and our husband and wife were also caught in a whirlpool of public opinion. I was deeply worried. But my husband comforted me in turn. Don't worry. If the sky falls, there is still your husband to hold it up. A few days later, my husband held a press conference and detailed the whole story of the incident. And at the end, he said a sentence. I will not let go of anyone who bullies my wife and child. This sentence instantly went viral. But it became popular in a sarcastic way. No way. No way. It's already 4,202. There are still people saying such cheesy overbearing president lines. Life is not an idle drama. Overbearing presidents can't do whatever they want. Boycott the Kin Corporation and demand that they apologize to the victims. Originally, I thought this matter would be difficult to suppress. Unexpectedly, a notice from the police 3 days later completely determined the nature of this matter. It turned out that the person who manipulated public opinion on the internet earlier was exactly Aunt Wang, the nanny who was fired by us. She held a grudge because we sued her daughter. So she wanted to use this method to deal with us. Her act of fabricating facts and slandering us has touched the criminal law. The last sentence of the police notice reads, "The internet is not a place outside the law. Self-media operations should strictly abide by laws and regulations. One cannot seek traffic without bottom line and create fake scenarios on one's own. Please consciously regulate online words and deeds. Don't spread rumors. Don't believe rumors. And don't create rumors." 2 months later, the case finally had a result. Kin Xianya was convicted of fraud. The amount was extremely huge and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Her fake husband, Xiao Dong, as an accomplice, was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Aunt Wang, the nanny, was convicted of slander and was sentenced to 1 year and 3 months in prison. As for teacher Li in the kindergarten, for accepting bribes and covering up criminal acts, she was sentenced to 3 years in prison for multiple crimes. After this incident, I no longer blindly choose aristocratic kindergartens. Instead, I chose a public kindergarten. At the beginning of the new semester, my daughter happily shared with me the interesting things in school. She has many good friends. The teachers in kindergarten are also very kind to her. There is no culture of showing off wealth and competing in the parent group. There is no more chaos. The relationship between parents is very harmonious. Occasionally, when there are conflicts between children, they will follow the principle of whoever is wrong apologizes to set correct values for the children. My daughter's life has just begun. I hope she can see the most real side of this world. And I will accompany her every moment of her growth and never be absent.